All right, what's going on YouTube and crypto Twitter? Today, as promised, we're going to go ahead and take a look at Bitcoin on the weekly, the daily, the 4-hour, and hopefully the 1-hour chart if I can I want to keep the video short. Basically, I don't want it to be some crazy long 20-minute analysis. I know that you guys don't want to sit through that. Thank you for returning. Thank you for coming back. If you're new to the channel, make sure that you smash that like and subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any analysis, tutorials, reviews, or any of that stuff that I do on this channel. Let's go ahead and take a look at the charts. All right, guys, so on our weekly chart, we actually are looking a little bullish on the higher time frames. Last week we closed with a really long wick to the bottom, symbolizing that the bulls have a lot of support down here. There's a lot of demand down in this area. And for this week so far, not very much price action on this weekly chart, and we're struggling to stay just above our green support box here at 10,600. I think as long as we can stay above this and see some more consolidation, we could definitely see some more upside in the long term. If we look at our Ichimoku cloud, there isn't really too much to comment on here, except for the fact that we've been using our Tenkan-sen line. Very, very nice support here on the Tenkan-sen line. And we are inside the cloud, so not necessarily a good thing. I think that if we can push a little higher and make a daily close or a weekly close above our 11,500 level, then the bull trend here will definitely continue, and we could probably see highs up back into the 14,000s before the end of the year. So if we come down and we look at a daily chart, the Ichimoku cloud, pretty much the same thing. We're still inside the cloud and using our Tenkan-sen as support here. Not very too much to comment on here either. We're pretty much just moving sideways. If we look at our indicators, it's looking like our MACD does want to be moving into bullish territory, which is a good sign. And the ATR, which measures volatility, is still slowly dropping off as we have this sideways movement. RSI is sitting right in the middle here. So there are some cases for the bullish and the bearish scenario, which I'm going to go over on the 4-hour chart. But for now, let's take the Ichimoku off our screen and take a look at what I've got drawn here. So we had our high up here at about 12,450 or so, and then we made our low down here at about 98.50. We then put in a lower high at about 11,180. We put in a higher low at 10,100. So I'm expecting to see, hopefully, we can make a higher high here and make a daily close above the 11,170 level. If that happens, then it's definitely going to be a good sign for the bulls, and we could potentially see a breakout to the upside. If you draw a trend line here, we definitely do have these higher lows, as you can see here. So unless we end up doing something like this, where we start forming a triangle and we start really constricting the price action here, I really think that we probably do have a good chance of breaking out. All right, so taking a look at our 4-hour chart, I did modify these levels of support. I didn't move them around. I just pretty much relabeled them. For right now, this is going to be our last line of support here down at about 10,200. I think that if we start seeing closes below that, we'll probably see continued bearish momentum down below 10,000 to probably like the mid or high $9,000 range. For now, we must hold this level at about 10,550. Any closes below that, we have very minor support at about 10,450. But in the overall scheme of things, we definitely want to be holding above this 10,550 level. Right now, we're seeing just a lot of chop and a lot of consolidation here. Now, here's a really interesting fact. If we take those drawings off and we actually just look at the Ichimoku cloud, we're kind of getting squished in between our 20 and our 50 EMA right here, which is acting as support, and our 200 EMA and Tenkan-sen line on the Ichimoku cloud that's acting as resistance. So you can see how even on the smaller time frame, we're still on the smaller time frame getting these lower highs and these higher lows. So in the overall scheme of things, we're forming a pennant, and then we actually have this pennant on the lower time frame as well. So the fact that we came into this pennant and started forming this from the downside, if this was a continuation, then I would expect to see a test of our range high at 11,100. If this ends up breaking down, then like I said, we kind of have our must hold line here at 10,550 and some minor support just below, pretty much where this cloud is. And then if we end up closing below this cloud, we've got our last line of support here down at about 10,200. If we take a look at our indicators, we can see that we're actually getting rejected by the 0 line on our MACD. So that's kind of not very good of a thing right now. We might be pushing lower. So that's not that great. We're definitely in bearish territory, and the ATR is super, super low, pretty much a $100 range. So not really a good area to be opening up positions if you haven't already. RSI is sitting right in the middle as well. So we're just seeing this long area of consolidation here on the 4-hour chart, which I think is probably going to be coming to an end before the end of this week. If we look in even closer at this 1-hour chart, you can see that we actually just exited the cloud. Very little price momentum here, even on the 1-hour chart. You can see these lines even clearer with our higher lows and our higher highs just kind of forming this constricting price zone here. So not really too sure what's going to end up happening with this. Again, pennants and symmetrical triangles and all that stuff, they're really only 50% reliable. We came into this on the 1-hour chart from the top side, so this could stand a chance of breaking down to see about 10,500. However, if it does break up, then I definitely would be expecting those levels that I mentioned before at about 11,100. If we bring up our indicators, we're also not really seeing any divergence. We're getting higher lows on the RSI and lower highs as well, which is confluent with the price action. Same thing is happening down here on our RSI. It's just getting really flat. It looks like we are going to be traveling into bearish territory here on our MACD in the next couple hours. However, it looks like this bottom line on the MACD, it might be bottoming out to come back up to the upside, which would be a good sign. But we're really just going to have to wait and see how long this consolidation lasts. So I wanted to move over and take a look at BitMEX on Trading Light. If you haven't heard of this tool, check out the tutorial that I have on it. There's also a link in the description below if you'd like to check this service out so that you can visit their website and see what this is all about. But basically what Trading Light does is it's a heat map. So it shows you in general, the brighter the colors, the more limit orders are at those levels. So if you look at the order book here, there's a lot of support right under us at about 10,700. So it's in general, though, pretty evenly matched. If we sort this by 100, there's definitely a lot of sell pressure directly above us. And that's what's making this price action just constrict to such a tight range here. We're really just moving around in a $100 to $200 range right now. So it is possible that maybe we sweep these lows at about 10,550. But again, unless we start seeing closes below there, I'm not really going to be worried in the midterm. There is some resistance above us at about 10,800, but it's looking like the majority of that is getting up here into 10,800 and 11,000. It's looking like a lot of that could potentially be liquidations. On the 1-hour chart, this is a lot better illustrated with how constricting the price action is being. If you look at these lower time frames here, just a lot of heat below us and a lot of heat directly above us in a really, really tight range. Normally when that ends up happening, that's when you see price action like this, where we just keep moving sideways for quite some time. So if we take a look at our heat maps here, it's pretty much the same deal. There was and still is some very, very large short liquidations directly above us. There's one for 12 million at 10,885. There's a 69 million. These are both 50x, by the way, at 10,900. And then there's another 25x for 69 million at 11,150. So we're kind of hovering around in the middle of the price action here. The long liquidations below us are a little bit closer to us in price action since we just had the most recent drop within the last hour. But I think as long as we can hold these levels and we don't see some kind of small long squeeze, then we should be okay in the midterm. And if bulls and more buyers come into the market, then I definitely see a good chance of us liquidating a lot of these shorts above us. And that would end up rocketing us up to this $11,100 level so that it can grab, so that the price action can grab all of that liquidity. All right, guys, so that is pretty much it for today. I'm sorry that this analysis video took me a little longer to get up today. I'm gonna get better with that in the future. But if you haven't seen my previous videos on trend lines and patterns and stuff like that, I'm gonna go ahead and link those up in the top right corner for you so that you can catch up on all the tutorials that I do. So make sure that you smash that like and subscribe button so that you don't miss tutorials in the future. And if you haven't seen any of the tutorials, when you go back and watch them in the playlist, make sure that you watch them in order, because each tutorial, I try to make it so that each one builds on the last as we start getting into more and more advanced concepts. With all that said, guys, I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will see you later.